we keep exactly that orientation the same, and then golfers go, right, I want to hit up on it now. And now they sit back. Now look at how I've sat back. The handle and me are exactly in the same orientation, but now the dynamic loft has come back onto the golf club. And what a dreadful impact condition that is. It's long overdue to get the old Broom dog back out. Now, if you haven't seen it, I did a video on a garden broom and how it can revolutionize your golf game. When I put the broom down in front, the broom in the direction that it points at is the club face. What the broom allows us to do is a multitude of things. It allows us to feel the weight of the head. The weight of the head is absolutely top of the pile for giving you the feedback of where this club is trying to swing. Now, the longer the broom, the longer the gap between the top of the broom and the bottom of the broom, the more we will start to have implications of what the handle will do to impact the head. So when the broom is long, any small amount of movement at the top really has an overwhelming effect for a couple of reasons. One, purely because of the length, but two, because the distance the handle is away from the head really starts to make you sense how out of control you are of grasping the head. And of course, that is never more so than when we are playing with the driver. But not only with the driver, we have less loft. So the misalignment of the club face with the driver is then amplified. The fact that you are further away from the club head with the grip amplifies the problem. And so the broom gives us some real insight into allowing you to control the handle to control the face. The golf ball to target line. So imagine I've got the club head behind the golf ball, like so, and I'm now set up. Any movement forwards with the handle. So when you all talk about, I don't talk about it, but when you all talk about it, pushing the handle forwards and creating shaft lean, can you understand that if I keep that handle in exactly the same orientation, and the reason why I put this club shaft on the top of the grip is for it to run parallel to my foot line. So when I put the handle down that line and I drive the handle towards the target, can you see what it's doing to the club face? When you now orientate the handle to the left and I push the handle down in that direction, can you see it still points the handle to the left? But watch now. I'm going to now point the shaft to the right. This is your quintessential inside-out golfer, where you push the handle off to the right. Now look at how much that club face starts to open. If I now draw the handle back down, but I keep the handle forwards, look how it squares the face. If I now go a little bit more and I turn a bit more to the left, all of a sudden the face has an opportunity to square up even more as well. But you understand that if you excessively drive the handle forwards, whether it's out to the right or to the left, you can see that it really has a negative effect on the orientation of the face, which is why shaft lean forwards is the devil's work. What I then want to also talk about is angle of attack. Angle of attack is something that golfers have tried to increase by shaft lean, trying to push the handle more forwards. And we see the handle, the shaft lean angle of attack, trying to come from this direction. Now you can see that that will have an opportunity to create more down. But unfortunately, that will create down and an open club face. So what we need to understand is that to create more angle of attack, we simply need to make the handle lower through strike, not higher through strike. So when I'm pushing the handle down underneath me and keeping it at the same height, and I'm simply moving around the golf ball, can you see that I've created angle of attack because the handle is low, which makes the club head high? When we then come to relate that to the broom, we swing the golf club into target, or should I say into impact here. And so this would be what you see as a delivery position with the best players in the world. You can see that the broom head is pointing somewhat down to the ball to target line. And it's at this point, the balancing act of keeping the momentum of the handle and allowing the broom head to swing will be the balancing act of getting your angle of attack down and the club face back to straight. Most golfers with driver have a continuation of pulling the handle through strike, which never allows the lever to unload. So because we're thinking about speed in a downswing and we're pulling the lever, we're thinking about making speed happen. Can you see, I open my body up, and we all talk about open hips, open chest. You can see where it would put the handle. If I make the lever heavy, if I make the club head heavy, the lighter end has a bigger differential between that and the heavy end. So I keep making the heavy end heavier and heavier and heavier, longer and longer and longer. The lighter end has more mobility and is easier to move quickly compared to if I had a super light end and a super light grip end. It would be much more difficult to create a differential between the two ends. And so when we get driver in our hand, because the lever is longer and the head is still reasonably heavy, but not as heavy as the broom, we really lose the understanding that when we pull, if we don't then swing the broom head, we will never allow ourselves two things. One, angle of attack back to zero, and two, a face that's squaring up. So when the club head is pulled, or the handle is pulled, we have to have this sense that we are sweeping the mat with the broom head to create the angle of attack. You can't just keep on pulling and turning and pulling and turning, because that's the ingredient, that is the impact condition that you will create, because you are continuing to pull the handle. And then what happens is that when you see that, or when a golfer sees that and it blasts itself off to the right, what then happens is golfers try to flatten out their left wrist to square the face up. So you flatten out the left wrist. Yes, you've now squared the face up to the target. The broom is pointing at the target, but can you see how inverted it is? It's now pointing to the floor. And so all of a sudden you have got shaft lean, you have got a square face, but you've got absolutely no dynamic loft with your driver. And at that point, yes, you'll get it going straight, but now you've got no height. Then what happens is TrackMan reads you're hitting down on it. Then we keep exactly that orientation the same, and then golfers go, right, I want to hit up on it now. And now they sit back. Now look at how I've sat back. The handle and me are exactly in the same orientation, but now the dynamic loft has come back onto the golf club. And what a dreadful impact condition that is. But you've got a bowed left wrist, you've got a tucked right arm, and you've got TrackMan saying your angle of attack is improving. But it's absolute garbage, all of it. Absolute garbage. Get yourself a broom and start to make some swings where you feel the transition of power when the club head swings, start to line the levers up, start to put the dynamic loft back on the golf club, and it will start to square your face up. Look how I pull, stall and swing. Pull, stall and swing. Pull, stall and swing. But my body is still moving all of the time. I'm never stalling my body out, but what I am doing is I'm changing the speed and the acceleration of the handle to enable the lever to unload. The reason why it's so powerful, as I say, is because the lever is long, the broom, and the broom is heavy. If you can find a broom, it's 10 foot long, and it's got some weight on it, honestly, best thing for you. Because as soon as you start swinging that broom back, you'll start to feel how the broom head will want to fall behind you, which it should do. Then you can start to pull it forwards, and now the handle can move down and the club head can swing. And if you haven't seen a video, the one in the top right hand corner, go check that out, because that'll blow your mind. That'll absolutely blow your mind. But it will go hand in hand with this video as well, which I hope is equally blowing your mind. Let me get a driver out and let me just put that into practice. So with the driver, it's exactly the same. Obviously now feels incredibly light, and when you do that, you all of a sudden go, oh crap, I see what you mean now. I can't feel the weight of the head. And so if you've watched enough of my content, I talk about weight. The heavier the golf club, if you can cope with it, the better it will make you be. Not very good English, that. The better it will make you. Because weight fortifies function within reason. Lack of weight, light, allows you to overpower a lever system, overpower your body, just to get face on ball. And at that point, you become dysfunctional. So we start to think about, there's the pull, there's the swing. There's the pull, there's the swing. And I'm starting to feel like I'm lining the face up. So with a ball that's on the floor, it allows me to really sense that I'm trying to get this pull, swing and line up, pull, swing and line up. And back in the day, for those of you that recognize the name John Jacobs, I was at the PGA Championship 2004. I was working with a guy, walked up the range, John Jacobs started talking to my man and gave him a little lesson. Get your driver out, stick it on the deck. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily the way you want to go, but it's an incredible insight into how a golfer can deliver an angle of attack and a loft angle that's neutral. You hit driver off the deck and you get underneath it, and then you try and drive the handle forwards, you haven't got a tee height to hit up on it, which is why it's difficult. And so when you're pulling and getting that transition of power that you're feeling with the broom head, you'll really start to sense how, let me have another go at that, you'll really start to sense how the broom has an indelible imprint in the pull, the swing and the line-up to enable you to really start to use the levers as they were meant to be. A little bit open face to path, but if you know, whipping it out the toe always remedies that. So the broom is a great device. It's cheap. Get it on Amazon, 15 quid. It will change your golfing life forever. I really hope that has given you some great insight into how the broom can aid you in understanding angle of attack, pitch and angle of your golf swing, and the loft that you're going to deliver on your driver. And it's exactly the same for all golf clubs. Go get a broom, give it a try, and I think you'll find that, my friends, is good coaching.